Hi, I'm Mark Gooley, and my case study is on the No Child Left Behind Act. The three texts I'll be using to help me analyze the No Child Left Behind Act is the 50 Myths and Lies That Threaten America's Public Schools by Berliner and Glass, as well as Finnish Lessons by Sahlberg, and Jewels on Schools by Williams. A little bit of background info on the No Child Left Behind Act. It was signed by George W. Bush on January 8th of 2002 and was implemented to ensure students are proficient in math and reading at an early age. It's an accountability program that was set up to ensure improvement in schools by annual standardized testing. First theme I'll talk about is the importance of quality education, as well as how education should be delivered to students. Williams states, "Singularities happen when you teach school. As a teacher, you'll never know how many you have provided. You rarely see them coming. Singularities are events that change a person's understanding about life." According to Williams, teachers provide many singularities to their students by doing simple things that are not in their job description, such as showing compassion. Teachers are expected to go above and beyond their duties in order to help their students learn to be moral and genuine people, as well as learn the material. Berliner and Glass mentions, "International test scores are poor indicators to use in ranking the quality of national education systems, and even worse in predicting the future national prosperity. A test cannot be used as an all-encompassing measurement of a country's educational system, just as students should not study to pass an exam, but instead learn the material to expand their knowledge. Education is heavily based on exam scores in today's society, and it merely rewards students who know how to take tests better than others, not if they've learned the material." Sahlberg emphasizes, "Particularly significant was the committee's observations that Nordic countries shared much in common regarding their education policies at the time. Increasing equality of educational opportunities, a priority at the time in England and the United States, became a central theme in the committee's strategic thinking. Education is important for society because it is the cornerstone for becoming an integral part of society. An educated society is one that can function at a high level and make knowledgeable decisions that will have a positive impact. The delivery of education to students has been debated for a long time and can be a large factor in whether or not students learn the material. Now, the No Child Left Behind Act does battle the achievement gap in schools by requiring school districts to administer the annual assessments of students' knowledge, although assessing students may seem like a great way to monitor their progress. Exams are poor indicators of a student's success. Standardized tests create competition between students and schools, which can be detrimental to learning. Other aspects of schools, such as homework or participation in the classroom, could be used as a strong indicator of a student's progress rather than standardized testing." Now, the second theme I want to hit on is that students learn best in a safe and encouraging environment that builds on their previously gained knowledge. Sahlberg states, "The ultimate criterion of the quality of a national education system is how well students learn what they are expected to learn. Education systems throughout the United States and many other countries have oriented learning towards constant assessments to monitor the student's academic growth. This approach has been proven to provide an environment that is heavily based on preparing for the exam. Rather than just trying to beat the exam, educational programs should mirror that of Finland's and provide students with a flexible environment that caters to each of the students' individual needs. Although assessing the academic growth of students is still very important, there are other ways other than constant test taking to evaluate if the students are learning the material or not. Berliner and Glass identifies, rather than compromise students' brainpower, bilingual education has been found to add to students' cognitive flexibility, allowing them to think and apply the subtle meanings of different words in two or more languages. An additive approach to helping students learn a new language has produced the best results. When schools use their heritage language as a guide to learning the new language, the students learned most effectively. Using the student's heritage language only to explain instructions for an activity, and then using only the new language during the activity is much more beneficial to students than completely blocking out their heritage language. Bilingual schools have proven better success in teaching a new language to students than monolingual schools. Williams mentions, as teachers, we know that when students send their children to us, that you expect us to protect them. We know that you expect us to protect them from bullies, and bad words, and bad thoughts, and bad self-esteem, and we do our best. Lastly, a safe environment for a student is expected by the parents, as well as provides the students with a place to express themselves and learn at the highest potential. A student should not have to worry about his or her safety and be able to direct their entire attention to learning. The No Child Left Behind Act does a great job promoting safety for students. Increased funds were partitioned for safety and drug prevention in schools, both during and after class. It is very important that students and parents trust the safety of the educational systems. Although this act physically protects students well, it adds a new psychological stress by additional standardized testing. As previously stated, this stress can be removed by other means of monitoring the student's progress, such as participation in the classroom. Now, the last theme I wanted to analyze was a successful society is built by a unified education system. Williams explains, from a parent's point of view, I have always known that schools are the wombs for society we wish to replicate. So if we want a future without racism, then we need to grow that future in our schools. If we want a future that divides society, then that is what we should see happening in schools. Students learn not only about numbers and words in schools, they also learn how to act and qualities that they will keep the rest of their lives. Teachers help students become successful people that are hardworking and determined to do their best. These qualities are what make a bright future for our society. Sahlberg notes, interestingly, the term accountability cannot be found in the Finnish educational policy discourse. Finnish education reform principles since the early 1990s, when much of the public sector administration went through a thorough decentralization, have relied on developing professional responsibility by educators and encouraging learning among teachers in schools, rather than by applying bureaucratic accountability policies. Unified instruction among schools is important for teachers so they can learn from each other and teach students how to be effective members of society. Rather than individually coming to divided decisions about the education in the United States, we should follow Finland's lead and learn from each other. Berliner and Glass mentions, in the 20th century, a major shift occurred in the understanding of democracy prevailing in academic circles and in the general public. The shift was from a vision of members of the public deliberating together and coming to decisions about the common good, to democracy as a means whereby private preferences of individual citizens compete to determine policy for all. Society is currently separated, and those with the most support determines policies for everyone. We could benefit from deliberating together an education system that is effective for all students in the United States. An accountability system was created by the No Child Left Behind Act to ensure teachers are fit for teaching. The quality of teachers that instruct the youth is important, which is an advantage to the No Child Left Behind Act. On the other hand, the No Child Left Behind Act cuts funds up to 10% for states that do not meet specific scores on standardized tests. Accountability for an education system seems flawed, since not all students learn at the same pace or in the same way. Also, Instead of unifying the United States, the accountability policy in the No Child Left Behind Act divides our country, causing states to compete for federal funding. A set amount could be federally funded to each state depending on population size to ensure an equal education opportunity for all students. Overall, no education system is perfect, but I am excited to see that we are striving to improve with programs like the No Child Left Behind Act. Educational reform begins at the political level, so in order to keep moving in a direction of better education system for all students, make sure you vote, whether it's at a national or state level. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.